And we're back. I can't hear you at all.
That's because I'm not talking. I'm letting the intro music
Oh.
play. Well, go ahead, Adam. Break the ice.
Are we live?
We are live.
Is this
We
thing
are.
on?
It is on.
And we're back. That was a long break.
That was a long ass break. Holy shit. You got a kid during the break. It was that long.
Welcome to episode 20 of the Hard to Name podcast. E3 2017 edition.
Yeah, a special reunion / one-off unofficial official 20th episode recapping E3. Adam, man, holy fucking shit. Talk about spontaneous live streams and on the spot. Let's do it. It has been a long ass time, but man, good to hear from you. Good to have you back here on Habiki TMD. How's everything been? What have you been up to? What have you been playing? I know we're hot off the heels of E3. We have a lot to discuss from that, but what's been going on, man?
It's good to be back. It's good to be back. Been playing a lot of different things. Probably could do an entire podcast on what I've played since the last time we did this. But yeah, lots of stuff. E3 happened this week. It's all said and done. I don't even think the show floor is open anymore. We're recording this live, which is Saturday, 4 o'clock. So everything should be pretty much wrapped up. Did you watch all of the press conferences this year?
I did not. I watched pretty much all the trailers. I did not. Dude, it's really hard to sit through a lot of those conferences for me, especially when it's like specs and hardware, like Microsoft shit. I know Nintendo
showed off Porsche. They did that weird thing that they do every year where they bring out a car. Talking about a car.
Not to be outdone with like on-stage antics. What was the game? Because I can't remember off the top of my head because it is a little bit older news this week. But they had like people hanging on nooses reenacting what was it? That
Days Gone.
Yeah,
that was impressive. I think Sony last year, they had the orchestra for God of War. This year they did something similar leading into their press conference with Uncharted. And then they had a lot of strange stage displays. But I think Sony's kind of done these press conferences more as a showy event than an actual press conference, which is good because that's a little bit more entertaining. And I think that's what people want to see more so than just boring. Let's talk about specs. Let's talk about this new Porsche. Let's talk about FIFA.
Well, if anything, you can add it to the list of disappointments for Nintendo this year because I was, going from the January showcase from that zany fucking Splatoon 2 showcase where the guy was like a mad scientist. I was like, well, they're going to really pull out all the stops for E3. No, they were just like, here's pretty much games we've already talked about and let's cock tease a Metroid. But we'll get to that. Yeah, oh, Jesus Christ. Adam! Holy shit, it has been that long, man. Where do you said you wanted to go in order off air. We can get right to it.
Let's go in order.
EA. It looks like EA rounded off, took everything from the top, kicked everything off this year for the most part.
Yes, they did. They do that EA Plays now, which technically isn't part of E3 because they do it like across the street. So EA was just like, you know what? Why? And this is something that I'm sure we'll probably see more and more over as the years come. Is if you've got the money and the capital to just put on your own show, why share the spotlight or share it on a day with someone else? I think EA has kind of figured that out. So they do EA Plays. They've been doing that, I think, 3 years now. Maybe it's only been 2 years. But they had their showcase last Saturday, a week ago. Pretty impressive, I would say, for EA. Obviously, I think the big thing there was Star Wars. It's always good to see Star Wars stuff coming out of them. Surprised we didn't see the Amy Hennig Star Wars. I really thought that would be there this year, but I guess they don't really want to step on Battlefront 2's toes, as that kind of took the spotlight. They also showed off some other stuff. Their Madden story mode RPG,
Need
whatever
for
the fuck that
Speed.
is.
Need for Speed was a
They
big
showed,
one.
yeah, showed Need for Speed. Um, they also showed A Way Out. I thought that looked super duper interesting. The game that is primarily made for couch co-op. I thought that looked good. That's actually developed by the same guys that made Brothers. I don't know if you've ever gotten around to play Matt.
I have not.
There's a fun little indie game where you control two people, one with each stick. So that's an interesting game. So A Way Out looks interesting.
A Way Out
But
looks like a
yeah, I was
cool third
surprised.
person action game. Looks interesting.
I was expecting to not really care about EA's thing. I was like, all right, well, it's the only thing on Saturday, so got to watch it. I figured it'd be like more, FIFA. And then surprisingly, they announced Anthem at the very end of it, and then was like, oh, but you'll see more of that tomorrow at Microsoft's thing, which is that game also. But I guess that segues us into Microsoft's thing because Microsoft ended up showing that off. But yeah, everything at E3 or at EA's play, I thought that was good.
Well,
I'm excited for
let's talk about Battlefront 2 real quick because that was one of the bigger things coming out of this as far as people's hype and expectations. You weren't exactly the biggest fan of Battlefront,
Oh, I
the
didn't
last
even play it.
Battlefront.
No, no,
Yeah,
no, I didn't even play it. I played it for like 10 minutes and I was like, okay, this is cool. But it looked like Star Wars. It sounded like Star Wars, but there just wasn't enough there. Like I played a couple of the co-op missions on SharePlay with a friend of mine, and it looked good. It sounded good, but once you're done that, that's kind of all there was to it.
I guess
So
the Battlefront we got last time was more of a case of what are you looking for. The meat and potatoes, the content was there if you're willing to invest for a season pass or extra DLC or whatnot. But that's not what fans of this series were all about. The campaigns.
especially seeing that you had things like space battles and shit like that.
Exactly.
And it's
Exactly.
like they took them away. It's not like they built this Star Wars game from the ground up and they were like, well, nobody's going to be expecting these kind of things. Because people were totally expecting those kind of things because Battlefront is a series that's been around forever. But I'm excited. I can't believe, though, you can't play as Jar Jar Binks. It's 2017 and we haven't had a fucking JarJar Binks game.
Lots of guys, man. But they went
Get,
the lazy man's route with this one, the last one, I should say. Not just that, it was just, dude, the inclusion of so many characters that were missing and the way that it was just handled. And it's like, okay, their philosophy on this last one we got, let's take a game that was this ultimate hybrid of air combat, ground combat, blah blah blah, and let's strip away half of what made it fucking popular and force feed it out to people because this is the era of competitive online gaming. People won't notice, they won't care. Wrong. People cared, they noticed, fans of the series noticed. This one is fan service, and it looks like fan service done right. I know when people hear the term fan service, it gets straight like, oh, these guys are going to be sour. No, this is a case of a company listening. You know what I'm saying? Like they noticed the lack of the people that fell off with their latest release. They know what they did. They know what they did.
just to play devil's advocate here, I'm hearing that argument a lot. Like, oh, EA is really trying to fix this. They really want to listen to the fans.
We'll see.
Like, oh, look at good guy EA and DICE for really listening to the fans on this and making it right for the fans. However, that's all that is really implying is EA really knew how much they fucked you over last year, 2 years ago. Like, it's not that they are doing above and beyond now. It's just like they're putting the game together the way that it probably should have been put together in the first place. So I don't buy the whole narrative of like, oh yeah, this is a game for the fans. Like this is the game that probably they should have got the first time around, and EA just kind of fucked everyone over. So, however, it does look awesome. It looks awesome.
A unique spin on the campaign too. A female antagonist.
I'm excited. That's
Yeah.
there's enough of Star Wars history, and you can get into this with all kinds of other stuff where you don't have to tell the same story. There's plenty of time where you can tell someone else's story. That universe is big enough. That's kind of the same problem I have with the Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War stories. It's like that universe is so big. Why do you have to try to shoehorn this fan fiction into like 100 years before the books take off? Like it irks me a little bit.
Yeah. And you're right. So many IPs. suffer from that lack of creative.
Seriously, just give me
Well,
something fresh.
well, it's not a lack of creative; it's unneeded creative. You know.
Yeah, I loved Shadow of Mordor, but that is about as fan fiction-y as you can get. You
It
might as
did,
well fucking
as a game, it did get rave reviews to defend that game.
mechanically, it was a great game. It's from a story, and even from a story perspective, you're like, okay, that's interesting.
Speaking of
But
rave
if you
reviews, and this may be a little
book,
off topic, and just because this is our reunion episode and got a case of the fuckets, times have changed, and I have picked something up. I shot you a picture the other week. I got Aladdin on Sega Genesis, Adam,
I saw that with the case. That was a
with
good find.
$5. Dude,
That's not a
you know
bad deal at
what?
all.
I've come around a lot more on it. It's not better still, but it's a lot more fun than I gave it credit for in the past. So.
The music's great. Say what you want about that game, but the music is certainly better than the SNES version. So that was EA's. I thought EA did pretty good. I was excited. I went into it with very low expectations, and I came away from it feeling like that was a good press conference. I enjoyed almost all of it, and then at the end when they showed Anthem, I was like, I can't believe they saved that for last. That doesn't look like that's interesting at all. So then the next day was Microsoft, and Microsoft, I feel like Microsoft has the worst press conference. I'm going to go ahead and say that out of everybody. I was not impressed. They hyped up the Scorpio to the point where everyone was already kind of assuming that it was going to be the next iteration that just kind of was backwards compatible, but it
Right.
wasn't. It turns out the specs of it are impressive, but then the name is so stupid.
Yeah, Xbox
Why
One.
would
Did you
you?
see the memes for that of how the evolution of Xbox and how we got to the name now?
No.
Oh my God, you got to check those out. Maybe I'll shoot you one later on. But yeah, Scorpio was fine. It reminds me of Too Cold Scorpio from WCW. That would have been fine with me.
I would have been completely okay with Scorpio, and Scorpio is a name that sets it apart. You could even named it the Xbox One Scorpio, but the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S sounds so incredibly similar
Yeah,
that
one of the
nobody is
last
going
things
to
you ever want to do is confuse your consumer. You don't want to confuse the
exactly.
market.
Yeah, if Nintendo has constantly proved why you cannot do shit like that. The new 3DS, like it's just so dumb that you would name your console that, especially seeing that one of them is on sale for $250 and the other one is on sale for $500, and all you have is one like I can just see it's going to be a nightmare come holiday season. And the whole is because they're getting into territory, such specky territory that regular people aren't going to understand.
You got to keep it basic for the
Yeah.
mainstream public. At the end of the day,
Try explaining to Timmy's grandma why he needs the one with 6 teraflops, not the other one.
the general
And like,
public was confused enough when the name Wii came out. Why is it named after a hot dog? Yeah, you can only imagine how this is going to pan.
well, I kid you not. Up until even like a year ago, someone asked me if the Wii U was that was the entire Wii U's life cycle. By the way, someone asked me if the Wii U was just an add-on for the Wii, and I was like, no, it's not. But that stigma followed it through that console's entire life. So I feel like Microsoft's really dropped the ball there. It was a really lackluster presentation. I understand the price at $500, but I think they're fucking smoking crack if they think anybody's actually gonna pay that kind of money. Yeah, because that's just bonkers.
Yeah.
However, if you were to try to build a PC or something with those kind of specs, it would cost you more than 500, which, say what you will. And things did look good. Things looked really good. The stuff that they showed was really impressive. That Metro trailer at the end of the Microsoft press conference was actually one of my favorite trailers of the entire E3 this year.
That could lead to one of the biggest questions coming out of the the showcase of the new graphics and all that. Are we still in an era where the general public, speaking of them once again, speaking of the devil, the graphics drive a console? That's are we have we
Yes
passed
and
that
no.
point where gameplay has become so refined in games we have these standards like graphics just don't sell a game anymore?
No, graphics do still sell a game to some extent, but we're at the point now where graphics don't matter. We're moving into HDR and 4K territory, and if you don't have a TV that does 4K or HDR, you're never even going to know the difference.
I agree with you also. I don't think that graphics matter as much either. People lost their shit on an NES Mini with 8-bit games, and the collection wasn't even that fucking great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that was all nostalgia based. I've seen enough posts since E3 to say, oh, look at the, like, people were praising how good Assassin's Creed looked. And don't get me wrong, Assassin's Creed did look good. I don't think it's the best looking game ever. I do think Metro looked fantastic. That game looked so good.
Well, I haven't
But I don't
talked to you
think,
since it came out. People lost their shit over the facial animations in Andromeda. What was your
oh
whole
yeah, that
hot
was
take on
terrible.
that?
That was terrible. Yeah, that was, but then again, it was BioWare's second hand team. It was like the B team doing that, so I'm not overly surprised.
On
But
a
yeah,
AAA game.
that I saw that coming from a mile away. Everything they were doing with Andromeda just spelled something's amiss, something's wrong with this game. And then when it launched, people weren't particularly
And a little bit
thrilled with
before
it.
that disaster went down with that poor female cosplayer who just got destroyed online. We were still doing the show and the Assassin's Creed 2 make bullshit went down with that graphic. Wow, that hiccup, you could say.
Yeah, that was, but that, that female cosplayer, I will say this: she put it on some kind of job thing that she was the lead animator for that game, even though she was not.
Yeah.
But it's like, why don't put yourself in that position? if
Yeah,
things
that
are
is true.
obviously
I'm not
going,
totally defending her, yeah, but I think the case was like it was focused on more that she was destroyed more online for being a silly woman in a cosplay outfit and being a dev or whatever instead of, well, she lied and that's what we should be crucifying her for. She lied on her resume or whatever. She's lying to us. Not that,
I thought,
oh, she dresses like fucking lightning or something. Who cares what she does as a cosplayer?
well, this is something I think we talked about before, actually, on one of the very first episodes that we ever did, was is it okay to attack individuals because you don't like a game? And the answer to that should always be no. If you don't like the game, just don't fucking buy it. Don't play it. You don't have to take to Twitter and yell at people and tell them that their game sucks, or tell them that they're horrible, or tell them that you'll kill them, or tell them that you'll rape them. I mean, that's just bad form.
Yeah, just don't go
Bad
see Alien
form.
Covenant, guys. Don't spend your money on it to get yourself upset. You know?
so,
Did you see that
so
movie, by the way?
no, I did not.
I did
Don't
not either.
spoil it.
Tannen
I do
saw it.
want to
He
spoil
said
it.
it was good, but he's also one of the most hardcore Alien fans I know. A lot of people don't like it. So, I don't know.
It can't be much. I didn't have a problem with Prometheus, but I also didn't really think it was great. I thought it was better than the Alien Resurrection movie.
Oh, yeah,
I was
I
not
agree.
Prometheus just didn't make much sense. But I thought, other than that, it was fine. I thought the
Prometheus is
production.
better than Alien 3. I mean, let's be honest. That
I
movie.
liked Alien 3.
Did you see the
The dog,
fucking? Apparently, there's this like special. They Lucased it and they made it even worse. I haven't seen it yet, but they made it worse than the original. Apparently.
does Ripley jump into the lava and go, no?
Or they just
Because
throw
that
it
would
all
be awesome.
together. She gives a slow thumbs up as she descends into the lava with T2. I don't know. Oh man.
But
So
anyways,
where did that
so
bring us next at E3?
well, Microsoft also showed off Assassin's Creed, which I thought was kind of like Ubisoft throwing Microsoft the bone, because that was kind of a big reveal, and I was
Was it
surprised
that
that
or was it
Ubisoft.
throwing them under the bus because the Assassin's Creed fans were pissed? Apparently,
I
they just like, here, you take the hate on this one, guys. You're bigger.
I don't know. I see mixed things about that game.
I don't know why everyone was so upset, honestly. I mean, yeah, it was
I don't
disappointing in what they
see.
showed or didn't show, but I didn't see the reason to get that upset. There was way bigger things to be upset about on E3 than this Assassin's Creed showcase, in my opinion.
I didn't see anything in the reveal that was upset. They did do the play after after Ubisoft's press conference on Monday, where they showed the devs playing, and it took one of the guys like 15 minutes to beat this boss, and it just looked boring as hell. Like no parts of that looked fun, and I think that that hurt a little bit. But as far as the actual reveal trailer, I didn't have any problems with it. But you know me, I like the Assassin's Creed games. I've played all of them now. Some of them are better than others.
A
I
lot
don't
of
think they're
people
all
have been.
match.
I was a guest on my good buddy PNG's podcast the other week doing a prediction show for E3, and one of the guys on there was like, man, kind of giving me shit for not checking out Syndicate because I kind of disregarded. So I told him, yeah, I'll pick it up and give it a go, see if I like it. I want to
It
at
was
least give
okay.
it a shot. I don't know
I
if I'm
actually
gonna
just
pick up Unity. I don't know if I can do Unity, honestly.
Unity was. I actually played that maybe 6 months ago, and that was still broken. Like Jesus,
I think I remember
this
you telling me
game's
that.
20
Like,
years old.
man, I just started. They've had all this time to patch it and fucking nothing.
And they didn't really fix anything. Like the multiplayer is still broken.
But it's
There's
because I
like
think they knew they had Syndicate up their sleeves. They're like, well, fuck it. Why will we'll just make Syndicate.
cut our losses.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that hurt Syndicate. The fact that Unity did so bad hurt
Yep.
Syndicate. So,
That's why
but
consistency is key.
this new one, it looks like it has a little bit more production than probably Unity and
It
Syndicate.
does. It looks like a throwback to the older games in a way too, historically. More back to basics as far as storyline. You could say at first glance. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And problem is, I'm not overly interested in hanging out in ancient Egypt.
I'm going to play
Just
your devil's advocate. I've actually been one of those guys since the Egypt thing's been announced. I'm not going to say hype, but I'm interested in this game. They got my interest again because I'm a sucker for like Egyptian themes and shit like that. I love levels in Mario 2 with the snakes. No, I'm just kidding.
True that.
You know.
You know, I feel like this will probably not play at all like Mario 2.
You think? Even if they patch it?
So, but no, I don't know. It looks okay, but I'm not completely sold yet. I'll probably play it eventually.
Like, I
Just
don't know.
because I play
Anything
all of it.
Prince of Persia E sells me. Like, if it feels like
And that's the thing. Like, how far back? When are we going to get the Assassin's Creed in Persia?
Assassin's Creed
Ancient Persia,
Bethlehem is what I'm looking forward
where
to
you play as
next.
the prince of a. It's just like now you're getting back to that Prince of Persia territory. Why not just make another Prince of Persia game?
They could totally do it with Assassin's Creed Bethlehem, where you're like the lost disciple you don't hear about in the Animus. You go back. You don't want Jesus to get
Awesome.
fucking yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think they really showed off too much else that was worthwhile. Madden, FIFA, the racing game. People are probably like, "Fucking Adam hates racing games." But no, other than that, that was pretty much it. And then
I don't think Adam hates racing games. Adam doesn't like mundane racing games. Adam fucking loves Mario Kart and F-Zero and shit like
I do
that.
like Mario, and I actually do love racing games. I just don't play them. But if I go to the arcade or something, I'll play a racing game.
Yeah, well,
I like
$0.02 on the
arcade
FIFA.
racing.
Our bread and butter obviously isn't FIFA and Madden games, but you can't ignore how well they usually sell and how hardcore those fan bases are.
And that's what's super strange about FIFA and Madden is that there are people who are like, okay, that's the one game that I'm going to buy this year. Gonna get that Madden, gonna get that FIFA, and like, who knows? I will say that Madden looked a lot different than any of the other Maddens that they've really ever showed.
Because
It's
they're doing
interesting.
it like the NBA game style with this, the advanced story mode, which is they need to do that.
And that might be cool. I'll probably still not play it, but it's cool that they're like, hey, maybe we shouldn't sell this game for the same way for 20 years in a row. Let's try something new.
I got NBA.
So
the last new NBA game I got was 2K16 for free when I first got my PS4 real quick. And the last thing I've ever done on that is play the single player. I just do exhibition games just for a little fun.
I got NBA Playgrounds about a month ago. It's pretty fun. It's like NBA Jam, kind of.
Speaking of which, picked up Space Jam for PSX yesterday for about $6. $6 too much. The back of the game case, they got me. I don't remember a lot of reviews on this online. It looked it's made by Acclaim, so I figured, wow, it's going to be like NBA Jam. It is if you're 3 years old. It's like underwater. It's slowed down.
Can you play as Bill Murray?
You can't. You can play as Michael Jordan. I don't know if Wayne Knight's unlockable. I hope he is. He better be.
That would be awesome.
Then I would get my $6 worth. But it's like you can never miss your shot. I have yet to miss a shot. It's a kid's game. I get that, but even Looney Tunes B-ball required some skill. Fuck.
Maybe you're just that good. Maybe you're like a Space Jam prodigy. You need to look up tournaments. See if there's a Space Jam.
Like the Bobby Fischer of Space Jam PlayStation games.
Okay, guys, they just show up to like this Evo or something where everybody's trying to play Street Fighter. So, all right, guys, I got Space Jam here. Who wants to challenge me?
Give me Xavier Woods. God. Besides, Space
So
Jam was not shown off. God, why can't there be a remake for
yeah,
Space Jam? Something, but there were, speaking of remakes, they got us on a couple. Bubsy, nobody saw coming. If I will say, at the end of the day, if any mascot deserves a second chance, it would be Bubsy.
I
Redemption.
don't think so.
You hate Bubsy.
Not interested in Bubsy.
Oh man, what other?
It-
We got.
but
Was there another big remake announced? I believe.
not announced. They showed off some pre-order DLC for the Crash Bandicoot
Oh yeah, yeah.
remake, but everybody knew that was coming. They
Um,
announced that last year.
the Dragon Ball Fighter Z game looks fucking amazing. It seems like
Yes,
the
that's
fighting
right.
game we
They
should have
did
got
show.
all along, like tag, fucking Marvel vs. Capcom
Yeah,
style.
I feel like that's the game that anybody that's ever watched Dragon Ball Z has wanted to play that game. That game looks so good. I remember me and Gary used to play Final Bout like all the time. I had this modded version, had to mod my PS1 so that I could play it. But and it's just like, man, this has come a long way since that. That game looks really good. And I think I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure it's done by the Guilty Gear guys. So,
Yeah,
and better than I do. Those games look pretty stylish. So
Guilty
that's
Gear games
exciting.
are excellent, and this game looks
And
excellent. Probably the best DBZ fighting game in my opinion was just talking about it earlier, Tenkaichi 2 up until this. Until this one comes out, I think this will go down as probably the best. It looks like it's a can't miss. Like they nailed it. Like they fucking nailed it.
everybody's walking away from there talking about how great this game is.
Another
Now,
thing that was actually, sorry to cut you off real quick because I just want to get your thoughts on it. It was announced right before E3 actually. Capcom announced Legacy Collection 2 for Mega Man with 7, 8, 9, and 10. What is your thoughts on
yeah,
this? Going for 20. I think 20 is totally fair.
yeah, 20 is fair. Surprising that once again it's not coming to Switch.
Yeah,
Which
didn't Capcom come out and say that their highly overpriced fucking Street Fighter game is it in the foreseeable
I,
future for the Switch?
I feel like there's probably something going on between Capcom and Nintendo behind closed doors. I
Right.
don't think they're playing nice with each other. But yeah, I don't. It doesn't particularly interest me. But for anybody that's never played those games,
Yeah.
there's some 9 and 10 are good.
Well,
7 and 8.
speaking of piquing interest, what piqued your interest next during E3?
Well, before we get off of Microsoft, I will say one thing that really, really bothered me about Microsoft's press conference is every time they would announce something, for like the first half of the show, they were announcing things as they came out, they said, hey, we've got 42 games to show you. 22 of these games are exclusive. So then they started showing the trailers, and before every trailer, it would say Microsoft launch exclusive. So you're like, oh, okay, that's a Microsoft only game. And then about halfway through, I forget what they showed. It might have been Super Lucky's Tale or something. No, I don't. Maybe it wasn't even Super Lucky's Tale. But then it started in with the Microsoft exclusive. And you're like, well, wait, well, what the fuck is the launch exclusive? And at the end of the day, there's only like 2 real hard exclusives. The rest of them seem to all just be timed exclusives that'll still be coming out later. So I felt like that was just really shady wording from Microsoft to make you believe that some things are exclusive and some things are not exclusive. In reality, a lot of what they showed will be on other systems eventually. It's just like, that's kind of, or like Microsoft launch console exclusive. Like, just tell me what is an actual Microsoft exclusive game and tell me what's going to be out on everything. Or just say timed exclusive. Like, the fact that they tried to use this language just seemed really, really shady. And I feel like it probably fooled a lot of people, because up until they showed the one game that actually said Microsoft exclusive, everything up until that point had just been launch exclusive. And it was like, well, what the fuck are you guys doing? Fucking shady fuckers. So, I didn't appreciate that at all. I thought that was fucking completely underhanded. But
And I've seen a lot of people in podcasts and stuff since that. The Microsoft fans were not happy at all from that. To shady business practices across the boards and that. Well, let's move the train along from Microsoft. Get to something. Good.
They did the thing a couple months ago when they were trying to sell the Xbox One S, and they would sell it with like the only thing that has high def gaming, and then they'd be like, and Microsoft console exclusives. And it's like, well, obviously, it's the only thing that does those 2 things, because one of those things is Microsoft console exclusive. Everybody out there is doing high def gaming. Like, what a shady fucking commercial this is.
Even Nintendo.
So,
do you think they backed themselves in the corner when they were like back, past couple months? They're like, if it's part of the Xbox family, it's part of this family. About the backwards compatibility.
I feel like that was kind of a grab too. And what surprises me even more is before E3, and the biggest pop they got at their press conference is when they announced Xbox, the original Xbox backward compatibility.
Yeah.
That was the biggest pop of the night for them. And I thought, that's sad. That's really sad.
Well, I guess
That,
we got to remake Jade Empire now. Shit.
yeah. So it's like, but what I found even more surprising than that is like a week before that came out, Microsoft's own numbers showed that only like 17% of people even fuck around with backwards compatibility on their Xbox One. Like, it is not something that everybody is all about. It's a very low percentage of people that are actually really into playing their Xbox 360 games on their Xbox One. So for them to be like, hey, and this is the big thing. And then it's like, well, but then they showed off Anthem, and Anthem looked awesome. That was that EA game. Anthem was beautiful. I will say that game looked gorgeous, and it looks really fun. I think that's going to be probably a step in the right direction for BioWare, as long as they can make it look like that. But just watching the few minutes that I saw that got me way more hyped than I ever was for Andromeda. So hopefully they're on the right track and they get back to the, this is what BioWare can do, because I feel like their reputation is kind of falling apart. People weren't overly interested in Dragon Age Inquisition. People were pretty upset with Mass Effect 3. Nobody really liked Andromeda. So, and before that, I mean, BioWare was kind of like a name to be reckoned with. So
they're in bed with Star Wars.
Huh?
They're in bed with Star Wars for a while.
Yeah.
That helped totally. There's some of the best Star Wars games ever. The KOTOR fans to this day still demand a new one. Not a fall from grace, but not the glory days. But then
no, I would say you could argue that it would be a fall from grace.
Possibly.
You look at something like Mass Effect 2, and there are people out there. No, I'm not one of them. I enjoyed Mass Effect 2, but there are people out there that'll tell you this was the best game ever made.
I only ever played the first one. I never even played 2, just 1.
I never played the first one. I just jumped right into 2, and I was like, yeah, okay, this is all right. And it was fine. I didn't have a problem with it, but the greatest RPG of all time, I think people can suck it.
Did you see Game Informer's issue with the top 100, by the way, RPGs?
I did. I actually went through and I counted how many of those that I've actually beaten and how many of those I've actually played. And there was a lot of garbage games on that list.
I agree. What did you think of Skyrim taking the cake real quick in that list?
I love Skyrim. I actually went back through recently and I played Skyrim, the remastered thing. I did everything all over, all again. And I got to say, after playing The Witcher 3, Skyrim doesn't hold up as well. Witcher 3 was pretty goddamn fantastic. And don't get me wrong, I love Skyrim. I still do love Skyrim. But the greatest RPG of all time, it's got some real contenders now.
I think the NPCs in Skyrim are too vanilla and repetitive and then that's what holds it back. Like a lot of Bethesda games that are open world like that, let's be real. Very vanilla NPCs. But dude,
yes, I think like it would be nice to see some better AI in those things. Like,
oh, definitely.
Okay, you don't like this guy.
How about more than like two male voice actors in Skyrim? That would be nice.
That would be nice. I'd be okay with that. There's a lot of people that sound exactly the same. What's really funny is when you find someone who sounds exactly the same and they're right next to each other and you don't know which one's talking to you as you walk past.
Which happens like every 5 fucking minutes, it seems like. Like we did say at the top of the show, it has been a while since we recorded. I have gotten The Witcher 3. Fucking love it. I got the complete edition on a sale for like $15. I love it.
That is such a good game. I love that game so much. I've actually been playing the Gwent beta. I don't even fuck with betas, you know that. And I was like, oh, I'll play the Gwent beta. Man, dude, I've probably put 20 hours into that already.
That's a great more. One of the best card games ever included. And, I hate Final Fantasy VIII, but I did love the card game in that one.
I was about to say the card game in Final Fantasy VIII was fantastic.
That should have just been the whole fucking game. That should have just been 8.
I've said that for many years. If they ever made a standalone Final Fantasy VIII card game, I would fucking play that in a heartbeat.
Oh, they're too busy making fishing games for fucking Final Fantasy 15.
That's strange. That's pretty strange. So but yeah, that was Microsoft's. Then came Bethesda's press conference, and I thought Bethesda killed it. I thought Bethesda had the best press conference of the night, and mainly for the reason that Bethesda came out and Pete Hines rolled out there. You saw Pete Hines like 2 times, and it was just like, here's a game, 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 and everything's coming out this year. And you got to respect that. Like, there is no bullshit. There is no filler. There is no weird like, oh, here's a Just Dance number, or here let's go talk to this guy, or like there was no bullshit. That game was straight up, and they announced some cool stuff. I think the Doom in VR is something that sounds and looks impressive right now, but I got a feeling that may end up making a lot of people very sick.
They also
I
went
think
Skyrim
Skyrim
in
in
VR.
VR, which they showed at Sony's, I think that looks like garbage. Like, just stop
Yeah.
re-releasing Skyrim already.
That already
Stop
feels
it.
like Star Wars Connect, just from looking at it.
It does not look fun. I will say that. But no, everything else, plus Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein. We knew it was coming. They had the little teaser last year. I don't know if you caught it. Last year, Bethesda's thing had the DOS boot up screen, and it said Wolfenstein: The New Colossus.
This was
And
one of
then
like the for sure things we were getting at least a long trailer this year, showcase of Wolfenstein. Everyone knew going in. I don't think. I
yeah,
mean, everyone expected it to be good, but I was pretty blown away how good it looked. You know.
I was excited. I enjoyed the beginning of that trailer, how they show you like all the different TV shows, and it's obvious the Nazis have taken over America. I thought it was fantastic.
Even
Plus,
even for the most part, speaking of trailers, even for games that didn't have me hyped, I will say for this year, a lot of these trailers were quite good, how they were done cinematically and stuff. Even for games I don't
oh,
care about. Even for the fucking Minecraft one, how it's like cross-platform and all that shit, and that was an epic Minecraft trailer. If you saw that,
that yeah, they. I liked how they kept Minecraft looking relevant. Um,
which it completely
no,
is
not
too, which is crazy about Minecraft. You know,
yeah, no, but I mean they still somehow. Here's a game that everybody knows what it is. Everybody's probably played it at this point, and somehow they still manage to come out and show off something kind of new and cool and get people excited for it. So props to them. You know what I mean? It could just be like, here's Skyrim again. So the Minecraft.
Minecraft is going to go down as possibly one of the biggest success stories in the history of gaming. Just like one guy started the shit, you know, and
Oh
how
yeah,
the roots
absolutely.
and everything. But yeah, Bethesda, man, I was impressed too. I would say one of the better, if not the best, also for E3 this year. A lot of people hyped about Evil Within. A lot of people hyped about Wolfenstein. A lot of people were weary. My good friend Lady Lone Wonder on Twitter was worried they were going to announce an online Fallout game because she hates online. Are you a fan of the ESO series and any of that
No, I
online?
haven't played it. I will say though, after seeing this Morrowind stuff drop, I was tempted. I was like, man, this looks fucking awesome. However, what I was so we do know that there are at least 2 big RPG open world games that Bethesda is working on. We didn't see either one of them. And I will say that was kind of disappointing. If there's one disappointment, if I had one bone to pick with Bethesda, um, we know that they're working on Elder Scrolls 6, but that is probably very, very far away still. So I was not expecting to see that. However, there are tons and tons of rumors about something called Starland, which is supposed to be a futuristic sci-fi open world RPG.
It's Skyrim in space.
Skyrim in space, or Fallout in the future, that without all the Fallout, but something very similar. It's something that Bethesda Softworks is actually working on, and I was thinking we would see something for that, but we didn't. And the only reason that I would think is that so that next year they can be like, and here's this game, and this game's coming out in 3 months. Bam.
What
You know
if
what I mean?
Bethesda just like next year? Because they have been just knocking it out of the park is with pleasing their audience, especially this year with the conference. They're just like, well, here's a Home Alone remake for NES. Because that and Where's Waldo they worked on way back in the day.
I think everybody would lose their shit. They'd be like, let's get it in VR.
Fuck yeah.
We need
First
VR.
person McAllister action.
Tim Curry chasing you. So that, yeah, Bethesda I thought was great. And all the trailers I thought were great. Other than that, I don't really have too much to say about
Well, I
Bethesda.
have to be your wet blanket for this, you know, to keep with tradition. A lot of people shit the bed on Bethesda, don't even give them a chance, say they're one of the most overrated companies. with how the games are buggy. It's just a bunch of bullshit. A lot of people gave him shit for taking a lot of credit for the success of Doom. People think like they piggybacked on Doom because they just published it. I don't know. Obviously companies have their haters, but Bethesda seems to get a little bit harder. And I think when you're one of the biggest dogs in town, you are going to get it harder. A lot of, I do see that point where their games are buggy and it it can be repetitive in Skyrim and the Fallout games. But what do you think about people that give like the wet blanket hate, don't even give Bethesda a chance?
I think that is okay. And the thing is when you play a game like Fallout 3 for the first time, your mind is just blown. You're like, oh my God, I don't know if you remember playing that for the first time, but there's nothing really. You play that and you're like, I don't know what else to really compare this to. Or you play Oblivion for the first time, or you play Skyrim for the first time, and you like, this is on such a different level. So it's easy to look past those bugs and those glitches. Today, and you've played Witcher 3, you know that even Witcher 3 had a lot of bugs, but they also spent a lot of time. Witcher 3, the game that launched and the game that you can go and put in your system and play right now, is much better. They spent a lot of time fixing stuff. And I feel like the days of Bethesda getting a pass simply because it's Bethesda are coming at an end.
Because Witcher 3 set the bar. That your
NPCs...
NPCs...
I don't think it's just Witcher 3. I think mechanically people are going to expect more than what they did once upon a time.
Well, that's
and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And hopefully this criticism will, Bethesda will see this and go, hey, there are games out there that are massive that are dealing with these same issues, and they're putting a little bit more care into it. And hopefully that just means for a better product at the end of the day with Bethesda.
And they
so I don't have a problem with
they'll tweak and fine tune a game like a Starland in the future, hopefully. So
yep, that's what I'm hoping. So yeah, Bethesda killed it, and then I had to go to work. Then Monday came around and I had to go to work, and that was that. But I made it home in time to see the Ubisoft press conference, which is not as weird as it was last year. It was pretty weird though. Not having Aisha Taylor out there, I'm not a huge fan of her. I don't think she does anything particularly wrong, but the Ubisoft thing last year was awful. I don't know if you remember it. They showed all of the they kept cutting back to like talk to the Assassin's Creed movie director, and it's just really weird. Like, why the fuck? Just show me a game. Nobody cares about this. Movie's obviously not going to be good. Please stop cutting back here and talking to this guy. So this year's was better than last year's. I still wasn't overly impressed. I thought it was cool that Nintendo gave them the go ahead to announce. I thought that Rabbids game was going to be announced on Nintendo's end, so it's cool to see that Ubisoft gets an announcement there, and I think it's cool that they're actually taking steps.
Is that passing the buck again, like we talked about earlier, though? Like in case it sucks?
No, I don't think so at all. I think it's good for Ubisoft to show that, because it shows that, hey, there are third parties that are supporting the Switch, because that's a huge game. Say what you want, and it seems like people's reaction to it is actually a little bit better than what I think. That people had really low expectations of what they were going to see
for the Rabbids,
and then when they saw that, and then when they saw it, they're like, oh, it's kind of like XCOM. Okay, so that seems to be the general consensus that I've seen of people.
Of all the games this year, that was the one I actually watched like a 20-minute gameplay footage of, and it didn't look that bad.
Yeah, it was okay. I wasn't sold on it. It was all right. If I was into XCOM, I would probably be all about that game.
Because the Rabbids show they have on Nickelodeon, I actually watched with my kids. It's fucking awesome. It's hilarious. My kids really wanted to see the gameplay, and yeah, they want to get it eventually.
Yeah. Oh, Lily was off the chain with it. She was like, "Let's get that game." But she said that for every single Nintendo thing. Everything that got showed for Nintendo, Lily was like, "You want to get that game?" Like, she's like, "Kirby, awesome. Yoshi, awesome. Let's get this stuff."
Well, speaking of kids, you and I do got plenty of those, and let's kind of breeze by Ubisoft and get to, because we can spend a good bit of time on Nintendo, and then unfortunately, guys, we got to take it home in a little while. Got families, we got kids like Heath Slater up in here, but for the most part, in synopsis, what did you think of how Ubisoft handled their shit this year?
Okay, well, I do want to just real quick a couple other Ubisoft things. Oh, and you know what? We glanced right over on the Microsoft thing with Sea of Thieves. If there was ever a game that made me want to buy an Xbox, it would be Sea of Thieves.
That game looks legit. Yeah.
I'll just say that if you don't know what Sea of Thieves is and you're listening to this, go check out the trailer or watch one of the gameplays. They've showed it 3 years in a row now.
How much do you think they're banking on that to sell Xbox One S?
I don't think probably minimal. I don't understand Microsoft in Rare. They're sitting on a fucking gold mine, and they just constantly put Rare to stupid Connect tasks. And here they're giving them a real shot, but I feel like they're kind of riding on it. I mean, they didn't show off any kind of Halo or anything, any other big exclusive. I thought Sea of Thieves was their big, like, hey, check out this game. This is a Microsoft exclusive. So,
yeah,
I will say that. And then a couple more things with Ubisoft. They showed off the Assassin's Creed thing. They showed off Far Cry. Far Cry looks cool. Far Cry looks like Far Cry. I wasn't really expecting much different out of that. That kind of looks exactly the way I thought it would look. The Skull and Bones thing, I was so hyped. I watched it and I was so hyped. And then they were like, and it's 5-on-5 ship battles. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what? This game went from being like, oh my, now I'm still curious to see, what it's about. But I went from being like, oh my God, this is it. Like, this is the one. This is the game this year that I'm going to be super duper stoked about. And then, my hype dwindled. But that's that. And then the Just Dance people came out and they just danced, and that was dumb. But that's kind of what Ubisoft does. So, and then more Assassin's Creed. So that's that. And then we get to Sony. What'd you think of the Sony press conference?
I think for what they had to show, it was okay. Obviously, a lot of people been out of shape about not. I wasn't pissed, but I was just like, not even anything, not even another like trailer footage on Last of Us 2. Like I know that falls under Naughty Dog's camp more, but still,
Well, no, because Naughty Dog is it's a Sony company.
I know.
But they flat out said same thing with Kojima Productions. They flat out said before E3, you're not going to see this at E3.
I don't.
So I was not.
I don't
I would have
care
been
about
more
Death
surprised.
Stranding. I could care less about Death Stranding at this point. I'm just not interested in that.
Stranding, they need to stop showing that game until they actually have a game.
Until it's a game.
Yeah, because they're gonna. All they're doing at this point, if they show it anymore, they're just gonna hurt the game. So no, I'm not surprised about that. It was cool to see Days Gone. That's maybe one of the most hyped games that I
that was
have
the best
walked away
from the whole Sony.
I thought it looked fantastic last year. I was like, oh my God, I want to play this right now. So I was excited to see that. I was excited to see God of War. It was cool that we actually got some kind of date for God of War.
Did you see all the mocap footage they showed, by the way, of the actors? Like he was hauling them in a cart.
No.
Like they had the little boy in the mocap suit and like the actor that played Kratos or whatever.
I'm fairly certain that is not voiced by the same dude who did the original
I don't
Kratos.
think it is either. I don't think it is.
You
I think somehow in the storyline, are we going to find out it's not Kratos somehow?
That would be no. I don't think
that
so.
would be weird.
Would definitely going in because in the trailer they show him looking at like an old Greek pottery, and it's got Kratos on the pottery.
Maybe they're looking at it like, well, your voice changes when you get older, so I don't know.
They just probably pull a Metal Gear Solid 5 and just not ever address it.
Not address
it. It's so, but that was that. I thought that was great. I love God of War. Days Gone looks fantastic. The Uncharted thing that they opened up with, I thought was pretty cool. However, Sony fucked up the sound for like the first 5 minutes worth of the stream, so the sound is all fucking weird, and that pissed me off. I feel like somebody probably got in a lot of trouble for fucking up the sound.
There were lots of audio issues with a lot of people this year. A lot of presenters this year shit the bed. Like that one YouTuber guy that totally bombed. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, woof. Holy shit. There's tons of blooper reels out from E3 this year, but man, people did not like their presenters a lot this year at all. Holy shit.
But I thought everything that Sony did was great. The problem is like it's hard to stay on that level that they were at last year and the year before with like the Final Fantasy VII remake and like the God of War announcement. Like there was nothing new, really, no surprises this year from Sony, which I thought was really. I was expecting to see something, like something new, something surprising, but
everything more Kingdom Hearts gameplay, if anything.
Well, and that was strange too because they dropped that Kingdom Hearts trailer like 3 days before
Yeah.
E3, and I'm like, well, why didn't you just save that?
And like a
Like,
week
why?
before, did they include when they said the 7 remakes like 3 years away at minimum or whatever? Did they include
Oh
Kingdom
yeah,
Hearts in that with 3 years, or was it like two
yeah.
years? Yeah,
No,
like
they were
did
like,
they get their
expect
shit
a new
together
game.
with their develop? Is it still the Final Fantasy 13 people working on it now? They figured their
No,
bullshit out.
they moved it in house, which it was being developed out of house. So yeah, that game, I, I'm still in the camp of like, I don't think we need a Final Fantasy VII remake.
I don't either.
Give us a sequel or a prequel or
I have picked
something.
it up by the way on PS4. I couldn't help it. I had to get
Nice.
7 of them.
It is such a great game. Killer music. I love that game.
I would say it's
But
probably the easiest Final Fantasy, but doesn't make it a bad game at all. It's a hell of a story, hell of an experience. I still go with like fucking 9 or 6 or 9 are my favorites, but still 7's really good.
9 sucks.
9 does not suck. That's fucking
9 does suck.
that's
I'm a
blasphemy.
monkey. I'm a monkey. I'm a monkey boy thief. I got 4 people in my party. Nice. Anyways, yeah, I thought Sony did everything well. I thought they did everything really good. Spider-Man looked really good at the end,
Yeah.
which is cool. I knew we would probably, but they didn't give release dates for like anything, and that was shocking. I was really expecting Detroit to see a release date on that. I was really expecting Days
That
Gone
game
to
looks
be out
excellent too,
this
by the way.
year.
Detroit More Human.
Yeah. Detroit looks. See, that's the 3rd year that they've showed that game. And it's like, what? Where's the date on this? Like, how many years in a row are you going to show
Do
the
you
same
think we're
game?
getting Spider-Man by have they even announced a quarter, an estimate is like quarter 2 next year? Even
I
in
think
our
it just said 2018. I don't think they gave, or maybe it said spring 2018. But maybe that was God of War. One of them said spring 2018, and the other one just said 2018,
real quick,
which is such.
what did you think of the Homecoming trailer? I liked it.
Yeah, I liked
I
it.
think it's
I
about
liked it.
goddamn time they got it right. I mean, I know it's Marvel now, not fucking Fox or whatever.
Well, it's Insomniac is the one that's doing that,
No, I'm talking about the
and they're
movie. The movie.
oh
The
yeah, the
Homecoming
movie.
trailer.
I'm excited. I it is still Sony, but they're partnering with Marvel. So Sony give them a fucking rope, and I'm sure enough they'll hang themselves with it. They're apparently Tom Hardy is going to be Venom now.
Apparently, he's supposed to have. They're supposed to be their own Venom movie too.
You were born into web slinging.
I mean, I thought that I thought all the cameo we got from Spider-Man and Civil War was really good. It was obviously probably my favorite parts of the movie. The Homecoming trailer looks good. All we've asked for, Spider-Man 2 is probably still, besides the first, maybe the best Spider-Man movie. But all we've really asked for is a wisecracking with personality, like we got in our comics. And
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
say
saying this guy's full of personality, but I'm saying at least this guy throws in wisecracks all the time. Finally,
I like this guy. I like this guy a lot. But Tobey Maguire, man, come on.
you
This
just
guy's
like
like
the
30
music
years old,
video.
still makes Peter Parker look awesome.
You just like the nickel.
And I do like these. Who doesn't like the Nickelback video?
Lots of people.
Link the Nickelback when this gets posted. Put a link in the description
I'm
for the
actually
Nickelback.
working on bringing the video up right now.
So the yeah, that was Sony's thing killed it. I thought they did great. And then that was it for the night. I walked away from it going like, wow, that was good, but just not enough surprises. Nothing new for me to care. Like all those games they showed, I already knew. Like, hey, I want to play that. Those games look great.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
kind of where I
let's take
walked
it
away
home
with
to the
that.
part where I busted a gut, getting so bent out of shape over the Metroid news. Let's just get into Nintendo and then we'll sign off and get out of here, man. And a lot of people fire the salt at Nintendo before the conference even goes on like every year because it's Nintendo. But
I
what
see a lot of
I knew my expectations
the one.
going in because Nintendo came out and said we're not really going to show off anything new. It's going to just rehashing and updating everything we've shown already. But I figured they were going to have a trick up their sleeve because it's fucking Nintendo. So I knew we were either getting a Metroid announcement. I wanted a new Punch Out game personally, maybe a Starts. There's so many things they could work with. It's just not.
You know what I thought that we were going to see, and I am floored that we did not, was Animal Crossing. I thought for sure there'd be an Animal Crossing this year,
Right.
but no. We get fucking another Yoshi game.
We get another
Thanks.
fucking Kirby game that looks just like the one on Wii.
Another fucking Kirby
I'm
game.
not
Thanks
yelling
a lot,
today.
Nintendo.
I'm not yelling
So
today.
no, Kirby, Yoshi, Fire Emblem Warriors, or whatever the fuck that game's called. Is it called Fire Emblem Warriors? I think it is.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Kirby is Kirby, Yoshi is Yoshi. If you played Woolly World, you probably know what you're getting yourself into.
You're not going to be able to die, and it'll be too easy.
And then, yeah, no Donkey Kong either. That I was kind of surprised of. I thought maybe next year. And then they showed off Mario Odyssey, which, you know, great. Those are all great. The problems that I had with Nintendo's, and for some reason they're getting a ton of praise for this, is that fucking screen for Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
And they did show, I will say, they did show the other Metroid for 3DS. That game looks cool. But Metroid Prime 4, it's just a fucking screen. Like, there's nothing there. That game is probably just, they decided that day they wanted to do it. Like, there is nothing there. No concept art, no nothing.
They got the Photoshop
And for some reason,
right before they went on the air.
Yeah, like, hey guys, we've got about 30 seconds to fill. What can we do to get people hyped?
Really dug in their box of milk bones to throw to everyone for that.
Yeah. Like, oh, it's rough.
I was more bent out of shape about the fucking remake, honestly, than that screen. I was on the other end. I was pissed about the remake simply because we got nothing. We got nothing last generation from Nintendo as Metroid. We got fucking Other M before that. We got fucking Federation Force. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the game looks cool. It was a great game to remake, Return to Samus. But at the end of the day, see, even your kids are bent out of shape about
it. Yeah, he is not happy. He's not happy.
But I think at the end of the day, we deserve something, at least an original fucking game. I don't mind it being on 3DS, but give us something new, not a rehash. You had a whole generation to work on something, not a fucking Photoshop screen and a fucking remake where the artwork doesn't even look that goddamn good, in my opinion. I'm not getting mad anymore. Promise.
And then the other thing to get mad about is the Pokemon thing. Like, oh, yeah, by the way.
Oh, I don't care then. I don't care about Pokemon, so you go.
No, well, I don't really care about it either, but I just feel like, and everybody's like, yeah, finally a Pokemon game. But, like, they didn't show anything. All they just said, Pokemon game coming for console.
They just showed some guy at his office desk fucking with stuffed animals saying, hello.
I didn't notice you there. I'm just working hard on this Pokemon game. Yeah, that I just thought that was, and that was a Nintendo. So
are you going to get a Switch, or have you gotten a Switch yet? I don't even know.
I did not. I probably will buy one as soon as I see one in the wild, but I'm not going to hunt one down.
Odyssey, I can't say Odyssey looks amazing. I don't know how it's taken this long to use that kind of gimmick with the hat, but that looks badass.
There's a lot. I have a lot of.
Why is the city floating though? That's all I want to know.
It looks like there's a lot of 64 vibes, which are cool. We'll see though. I don't know what to think about it.
We also got those vibes when we first saw Sunshine, and then that is a case of I love Sunshine, but a lot of people don't like it because of the gimmick. So
yeah, and Sunshine, I was not a big fan of Sunshine. It played well, but as far as an overall game, it's probably one of my lesser favorite Mario games.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that. So it's been Hard to Name podcast E3 2017 press conference review one shot.
Hey man, who knows what the future's hold? Maybe we'll do one of these in the future spontaneously. I don't know, but hey, it was good to have you back for this this one shot, one off reunion E3 special, man. Always great to hear from you. Real quick, follow me on Twitter at @TheAbickyTMD. Adam, man, always a pleasure to hear from you. I hope everything's going well for you. And everyone's missed you, man. And someday we gotta do this again, Howard.
Indeed.
Until next time, guys. This was Hard to Name podcast number 20, E3 reunion. Stick around.
But how can that be? Look what love gave us. love of a hero, and that's why I feel